Before you take another bite from your favorite chain restaurant, you need to hear this. 6 of the most popular places in America are serving food with secrets so shocking you might rethink your next lunch run entirely. From frozen, microwaved meals disguised as fresh cooking, to mystery meats, expired ingredients, and kitchens that would make a health inspector sweat. These restaurants have more going on behind the scenes than their menus ever admit. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about clarity. Because once you know what's really happening behind those kitchen doors, your appetite may disappear faster than a half-price lunch special. Number 1. Applebee's. Let's start with Applebee's, the place that markets itself as casual, comforting, and neighborhood-friendly. But behind the friendly branding and sizzling fajitas lies a kitchen that operates less like a restaurant and more like a microwave testing center. Former cooks and managers have admitted that up to 90% of the food served at Applebee's arrives frozen, pre-cooked, and vacuum-sealed. That sizzling skillet you hear coming to your table? It isn't fresh meat hitting a hot pan. It's reheated protein, staged with carefully added steam to make it look freshly cooked. One former manager confessed that the only items regularly cooked from scratch were the eggs and the baked potatoes. And even those sometimes arrived half-prepped in plastic, ready to be finished off for show. Customers have posted photos of steaks so limp, gray, and lifeless that people online joked they looked like a damp rug or a pancake that gave up on life. It may be funny online, but the reality behind that appearance is contamination risk and a poor handling. That's not just a violation, it's an open invitation for bacteria to multiply. It's the kind of mistake that can turn a casual dinner into a night spent questioning every life choice. And then there's the bar. Applebee's happy hour is famous for those giant neon cocktails that look like they belong in a science museum more than a restaurant. But according to bartenders, those drinks are mixed with the cheapest bottom-shelf alcohol available despite their colorful, fancy appearance. One server even joked that the top shelf was only used to store cleaning supplies. Those massive blue Long Islands aren't designed to impress. They're designed to distract. Applebee's doesn't sell freshness. It sells familiarity, illusions, and cocktails strong enough to make you overlook the mediocre food. Once you realize how much of the menu is reheated rather than cooked, it becomes clear that the neighborhood grill charm is just another marketing trick hiding behind a microwave door. Number 2, Subway. Now let's talk about Subway, the chain that built an entire empire on the slogan, "Eat Fresh." But once you look behind the counter, that freshness starts to dissolve faster than their lettuce on a hot day. And nothing exposes the illusion more than their infamous tuna controversy. Multiple lab tests over recent years have raised one disturbing question. Is there even any real tuna in Subway's tuna? One scientific review in 2021 found no amplifiable tuna DNA in the tested samples. That's not just suspicious. That's like ordering a PB&J and discovering there are no peanuts, no fruit, just mysterious beige paste calling itself a sandwich. Former employees have shared even more troubling stories. Expiration stickers peeled off and replaced with new dates. Tubs of chicken with "Do not use after Tuesday" scratched out and relabeled. One customer opened their sandwich to find a strip of chicken so translucent and slimy it looked like a wet tissue from another universe. Reviews described Subway's poultry as spongy, elastic, and possibly from another planet. Hardly the fresh protein customers think they're getting. Even the vegetables, the part people assume is safest, aren't immune. A viral photo from a New Jersey location showed brown, wilted lettuce, tomatoes with mold edging in, and cucumbers that looked like they'd been rinsed in mop water. Health inspectors have repeatedly cited Subway locations for temperature violations, improper glove use, and pest problems. One inspector reported an employee wiping down a prep counter with a dirty rag, then immediately using the same rag to wipe lettuce. That's not eat fresh. That's eat whatever that was. And then there's the bread. In Ireland, a court ruled that Subway's bread contains so much sugar, it legally cannot be called bread. Think about that. The foundation of every sandwich, the core of the brand, is essentially a soft, sweet-baked good, closer to cake than anything resembling real bread. Add to that their famously uneven toasting, where one side is burnt while the other looks uncooked, and you have a meal that can't even commit to being warm. Subway's global success isn't rooted in quality. It's rooted in convenience, cheap prices, and a clever slogan. But once you see the brown lettuce, the mystery meats, and the cake-like bread, it becomes impossible to believe the fresh narrative again. Number 3. Taco Bell. Welcome to Taco Bell. The late-night savior for college students, road trippers, and anyone who thinks a dollar burrito is a good idea at 1 a.m. But behind the neon lights, crunchy wraps, and catchy jingles lies a reality that's far less appetizing. Because once you see how the food is actually prepared, you may realize the cravings aren't worth the consequences. Let's start with one of the most shocking behind-the-scenes clips ever posted. A former employee pouring a bag of brown powder into a tub, adding boiling water, and stirring until it turns into something resembling refried beans. No seasoning, no slow simmering, no freshness, just instant bean paste created like a middle school science experiment. One commenter said it best, "I thought I was eating fiber. Turns out it was bean-flavored cement." And the ground beef isn't much better. Taco Bell proudly advertises it as 88% beef, which sounds comforting until you learn what the other 12% is. Fillers like oats, soy, anti-caking agents, and silicon dioxide. A substance also used in sand, glass, and industrial products to prevent clumping. People have described the texture as wet, gritty, and sometimes strangely sweet. Hardly the seasoned, juicy filling shown in commercials. But the biggest danger comes from temperature violations, especially during late-night rushes when staff is thin and corners get cut. Former workers say it's common for meat and cheese to sit out longer than they should, just to keep the line moving. That means your taco might contain meat that's been cooling off longer than your phone battery. Then there's the infamous ice machines. Undercover inspections have revealed black slime, mold, and even bugs inside soda fountains. One inspector noted that the Taco Bell ice bin was dirtier than the bathroom sink. If that doesn't make you rethink your Baja Blast, nothing will. Even the food presentation is hit or miss. A viral photo showed a taco with barely 2 teaspoons of filling, limp and crushed as if it already regretted being assembled. Customers joked it looked like it needed therapy, not salsa. Taco Bell's value menu may be cheap, but the shortcuts behind it come with hidden costs, questionable ingredients, lax sanitation, and a late-night gamble with your digestive system. The flavors might hit the cravings, but the aftermath is where the real story begins. Number 4. Olive Garden. Now let's pull up a chair at Olive Garden, the chain that promises warmth, family, and endless breadsticks. But behind the comforting Italian branding is a kitchen that operates a lot more like a factory than a trattoria. If you've ever wondered why everything tastes the same no matter where you go, it's because most of the food isn't prepared. It's assembled. Let's start with the pasta. Customers imagine giant pots of boiling water and chefs tossing fresh noodles like a scene from an Italian movie. Reality check, the pasta is pre-boiled, frozen, and shipped in bags, then reheated when you order it. That velvety Alfredo sauce, delivered in giant industrial pouches that get reheated like a sad science experiment. Former employees admit kitchens are more like assembly lines than anything resembling a real restaurant. One viral confession summed it up perfectly. You're not ordering dinner, you're activating a microwave meal with table service. And then there's the lasagna incident. A customer posted a video of their slice jiggling on the plate like a block of tomato-flavored gelatin. The cheese looked like melted plastic. The layers had fused together and the sauce had the limp, shiny texture of glue. People couldn't decide whether to laugh or gag. Olive Garden's famous salad isn't much better. The lettuce arrives pre-chopped in huge bags and can sit for hours before reaching your bowl. One former worker even claimed the olives are soaked in a preservative solution, so strong it made their fingers numb after prepping a tray. That fresh crunch might actually be a hint of chemical undertones. But the biggest red flag is the cleanliness. Health inspections from multiple locations reveal repeated issues: improper food storage, utensils left in standing water, dirty prep areas, and in one disturbing case, a pasta bin crawling with insect activity. Yes, actual insects. Customers have also found hair tangled in plates and pasta, with viral photos begging the internet to please tell me this is seasoning. Employees described the cleaning system as chaos held together by bleach fumes. With high turnover and rushed training, new workers often handle food before they even fully understand sanitation basics. Olive Garden sells nostalgia and comfort, but once you see the truth, it feels more like a freezer aisle pretending to be Italy, and not doing a very good job hiding it. Number 5. Chipotle. Chipotle has built its entire reputation on two words: fresh and clean. Fresh ingredients, fresh prep, fresh flavors. And compared to other fast food chains, it certainly feels healthier. But behind the stainless steel counters and assembly line bowls lies one of the most troubling food safety records in the modern restaurant industry. In the last decade, Chipotle has had more foodborne illness outbreaks than any other major fast casual chain. Norovirus, Salmonella, E. coli. Not once, not twice. Repeatedly. The problem starts with Chipotle's biggest selling point. Everything is prepped daily. It sounds great, but it also means undertrained employees are chopping, mixing, marinating, and cooking at high speed under strict time pressure. And when speed becomes more important than safety, mistakes spread quickly. One former worker admitted they once cut raw chicken while still wearing gloves covered in guacamole. Another said rice sometimes sat in warming trays for hours. Crusty on top, mushy underneath, and nowhere near safe. Even the beloved guacamole can become a hazard. Yes, it's fresh, but it's made in such massive batches that one bit of contaminated equipment can infect bowls for an entire day. And those bowls? Many customers have noticed greasy fingerprints, salsa drips, or dried rice stuck to the rim. When the lunch line stretches out the door, quality control falls apart fast. But the riskiest ingredient is the lettuce. Chipotle uses unbagged romaine, which sounds natural and wholesome, until you realize romaine has been linked to multiple nationwide outbreaks. In 2018, nearly 700 people got sick across several states after eating at Chipotle due to improperly washed lettuce. A burrito bowl shouldn't come with a side of food poisoning anxiety. Temperature logs are supposed to protect customers, ensuring everything stays above 140 degrees or below 40 degrees. But multiple lawsuits and employee reports reveal the truth. During rushes, logs are skipped, faked, or ignored completely. Meat sits too long. Rice cools too fast. Beans warm too slowly. All of it creates a bacterial playground waiting to hit your digestive system. And if you think choosing Chipotle means choosing healthy, think again. A fully loaded burrito can easily hit 1,200 calories and more sodium than you should eat in an entire day, wrapped up neatly in foil and labeled as wellness. Chipotle sells the illusion of purity. But behind the hype is a restaurant where freshness doesn't always mean safety, and every visit is a bit of a gamble. Number 6. McDonald's. Finally, we arrive at the giant among giants. McDonald's, the chain so iconic, it practically defines fast food. Billions served, golden arches everywhere, and a menu you can recite by heart. But behind that familiarity is a long list of problems that most customers never see, and many employees wish they could forget. If you think McDonald's food is consistent, clean, or carefully prepared, the truth might make you lose your appetite faster than a cold McNugget. Let's start with the biggest running joke in fast food history: the always broken ice cream machine. People treat it like a meme, but former managers admit the real reason isn't the machine. It's the cleaning process. The machines require hours of disassembly, sterilizing, and reassembly. Many locations simply skip steps or shut the machine down entirely because properly cleaning it takes too much time. One employee said, "It's either broken, fake broken, or growing its own ecosystem inside." And it doesn't stop there. Behind the counter, the so-called consistency McDonald's prides itself on often falls apart. Workers have shared photos of burger patties stored at unsafe temperatures, cheese sweating under heat lamps, and lettuce that looks like it thawed from a cryogenic chamber. A viral behind-the-scenes video even showed stacks of buns sitting on the floor, right next to a mop bucket. Appetite? Gone. Night shift employees reveal even worse issues. Deep cleaning is often rushed or skipped altogether so workers can clock out faster. Some locations keep fryer oil for multiple days, even when it's visibly dark and gives the fries a bitter aftertaste. The fix? Add more salt and hope no one notices. The meat isn't much better. McDonald's claims 100% beef, but that doesn't mean quality beef. It means low-grade cuts, heavily processed, flash frozen, then cooked on automated grills. Undercooked? Overcooked? Doesn't matter, it gets served. A whistleblower even showed employees scraping grill residue off undercooked burgers, reheating them, and serving them again. Then there are the soda machines. Shiny on the outside, horrifying on the inside. Technicians report mold, syrup crust, and sticky bacteria breeding behind the panels. One said some machines were worse than a college fridge on day 50. McDonald's survives on convenience, not care. The food is engineered to be fast, addictive, and cheap, but the shortcuts behind it come with real risks. Once you see what happens behind those golden arches, it becomes clear that millions aren't just being served. They're being fooled. At the end of the day, these 6 restaurants aren't just cutting corners. They've turned it into a business model. Frozen meals disguised as fresh cooking, risky shortcuts in the kitchen, expired ingredients, and cleanliness standards that crumble under pressure. Eating out should be enjoyable, not a gamble with your stomach or your safety. Once you know what's really happening behind the scenes, you start to question the shiny menus and clever slogans. So the next time you're choosing where to eat, trust your instincts. And remember, not all popularity equals quality. Stay aware, stay selective, and stay safe.